Yeah, welcome to this YouTube channel, Beautygold Apparel. So sorry for the change of name. It's actually for easy remembrance. And then, since I'm into bespoke and ready to wear, so I thought of changing it to a name that fits it the most, which is apparel, meaning one on the body. So back to this tutorial. This is Mako. This is called Mako. Get it from people who sell things used by shoemakers, like all this gum, leather, all these shoe buckles. That type of people who sell this thing. So to get this, you measure the circumference of the head. So after measuring the circumference of the head, you have like you minus like 2 inches from it. So the person's head circumference I'm working with is 27 inches. That's the head circumference of the person. So I cut this Mako now 25 inches. You get, I cut it 25 inches for the length. Now for the width, it is preferable you use 3 inches. But I use 5 inches here. But it's more preferable you use 3 inches, sorry. So if you use 5 inches, it's going to be high. But if you use 3 inches, it's going to be moderate. So it depends on what you want to use it for. Like some people may use it for like all these theater people who act dramas. They also use this type of cap too, so they prefer the high one. Maybe for the role they want to act. But if it's just for fashion as a woman, it's preferable you use 3 inches for the width, not 5. Please take note, 3 inches. Use 3 inches, please. It's just for fashion. And you can see that I'm using a rule to make the line straight. So you also need to make use of a visible chalk. Then you just cut through the line. It's a straight line, just cut through like that. This Mako is actually thick. It has different sizes. Yes, different sizes and different texture. So when you get it, just tell them that the one for cap, that's the one you want, the one for cap. So they'll just give you this one. Then this one I bought it, I think 10 inches by 28 inches. I mean 30 inches. I bought it for 600 naira. Yes, 600 naira. So I'm using half of it now. Meaning when you get that one, you can use it twice. That's what it literally means. So then to transfer to the main fabric, consider that I marked 26 inches there. You add your allowance, so allowance for stitching, at least 2 inches allowance for stitching. You add it. Then the next thing is to cut a straight line for a start. So I'm actually measured 5 inches there because the marker I used was 5 inches. But if you had to use the 3 inches, so what you measure there will be 3 inches. And then you now times it times 2, making it 6 inches. So that part that I marked 10 inches, but if you have to use 3 inches, then you mark it 6 inches, which is double, because I'm going to fold it. So as time goes on, you understand what you are doing better. Then you can extend the length of the cap by additional, like here now I use 5 inches because the height of the marker I used was 5 inches. So if you have to use 3 inches for the cap, you can still use 5 inches also for this part here. Then you just like make a slant line there and see it is not straight. Just make it slant. It should not be too curved like this way you can see it. It should be something like this. Be careful to follow the line. Sorry for the background noise. Here is actually a very busy area. Okay, so you can see how I'm placing it now. Put the marker inside, then you fold it up. You can see. So this is the reason why we mark the marker times 3 on the fabric. Since that is 15 inches we marked. We measured there the other time. So you get your needle and thread. Your hand needle and your thread. You can choose to use a sewing machine. There's no problem with that. But I personally prefer using hand needle and thread, as it will make the lines invisible. Okay, then you start tacking. You use back stitch. You use back stitch to stitch it. So back stitch simply means, as you can see, when you put the needle in from the wrong side, and then you know it will come out at the right side. That part where it comes out at the right side, where it comes out from, as you can see, that is the particular place you put it in again. You see it, that same place. So the outside, you will not see it, that is actually needle and thread. It will only show on the wrong side. You can see, then you put it in there. You pick just one piece there, then you put it in. Notice I did not stitch the two together, so now I'm stitching it to the right side. So just continue tacking like that till you get to the end. So just watch it closely. I think it's not showing on the right side. Sorry for the background noise. This place is quite busy today. So just watch it closely, you'll be able to get it. That's it. Take it down to the right side. Then on that right side, you just put the needle again. Let me zoom it so I'll be able to see it clearly. Okay, so I've zoomed it now. So now you just take the needle, you put it the same place you brought it out from, that same point. Just put it into the other side. There's the wrong side. Just continue like that. It's not difficult. Just watch it closely. We're able to do it exactly the same way. Just continue. Don't give up. We're almost done. So you see that we're almost done. So I think I'll just use this like 2 more times. Then I'll just close the end. So just put it again. Now you put in the needle like that. When you get to the end, you just stitch it to close it. So I've gotten to the end. So I just want to tighten it there now. I'm just tightening it well. So for this part, you can decide to use your sewing machine. But I just want to make use of the hand needle so that with the back stitch it will be kind of neat and fine on the outside. You will not even notice. Look at it on the right side. You will not even notice that somebody even sewed this thing self. It will be very hard to understand. Get. You can just iron it to just make it a little straight. Wow, this thing is fine. See how it's shining. So it looks very fine. So now you want to stitch the sides. You can make use of your sewing machine for this part. But I want to make use of needle and thread. So I want to thread the needle. So you can see I'm stitching that part. Make sure that piece is very tight, as is the starting point. Then you start stitching like that. Just continue stitching like that till you get to the end. You see how it looks. Oh my god, very fine. Very fine. Wow. This is our lower cap. I think it makes sense. So this is it. So now just follow me as we make the hand fan. So for this one I made use of 6 inches for the width. But for the length I did not measure it. So just depends on how full you want it to be. So in this tutorial I will show you 2 methods of creating the hand fan. Like this first one, I gathered first before ironing. Then the second one, I'll plait first before ironing. So you look at the two and then see which one you prefer to use. Which one is more easier for you, but whichever way you get the same results. So now get my needle and thread. You can see. I got my needle and thread, and then I'll start tacking. So be careful not to hurt yourself. So that I've almost gotten to the end. So just continue like that till you get to the end. So actually for this effect, if you look at it very well, so that place kind of is not straight. That's like zigzag. Is this scissors you are seeing here? That's what did the magic. It's pinkish shades, also not zigzag scissors. So if you look at this material very well, so at the edge, that's what I used. So you can use it to give it that fine effect. So you can see as I've already gotten that gathers effect. So I just iron it and then attach it to the cap. So this is the second one. So this one, I want to pleat first before I start tacking. You can see this first one. Already attached it. I pleated and then I attached it to the cap. That's the part we joined. Part where we joined. That's how I attach this one to it. So this one just iron. You take it like that, little, then you iron. So when I put it at first, I was like, this iron is very hot. So she can not come and burn my client's dress. So I went to reduce the heat. Okay. Then you iron down. You just iron like that. Just take it like that gradually till you get to the end. get your needle and your thread now. Then you start tacking. So the parts where we folded, that's where you just start from. So just watch me closely how I sew down these parts and see it. So I just pleated it from the iron, that's how you just continue like that. You can see that this is the second method, which is quite different from the first one. See that one we gathered first before pleating, but this one I will pleated first before we start gathering. So personally, I prefer this one, honestly. Okay, so you see how it looks like when we are done. Wow. So we are done stitching it together. So it looks so fine. Now I want to attach it to the cap. So when I put it first, I was like, ha, this thing is high, yo. See that I put it between the hand fan and the cap. Very high. This person wears to the part to a pattern. People behind her will never even see what is happening at the front. But my partner said was like, ah, waiting with this. So I just have to reduce the height. You see. So I'll cut from it now. And I'll cut out like 2 inches from it. And so it's too high. It's too high. So I'll cut out from it now. So I will level a little. Ah, but this one is too much now. So you see that I'm already taking 2 inches from it. So I finished cutting. So now I want to tack it down to the cap. So I put it in between the first fan and the cap itself. So as to create the effect. Wow, see how it looks. Oh God, done. Oh my God, this thing makes sense, sha. Sorry that I could not get the full part of this cap and this seam here. I apologize for that. I don't want to tack down the side so it will not stand too much, you know. So I will not be bending over. So this one will just like secure it to the cap. Just one tack at the edge, the other one tack at the other edge. So you can see I'm sewing it down on the inside and then tie it. So whatever work you do should be in the wrong side, not on the outside. See how it looks very fine. So to cover up that rough part, I want to cut this piece of fabric. It's not that big, just like, let me say, just 1.5 inches wide. I did not measure the length, depending on how full you want it to be too. I use this my zigzag scissors, also known as pinking shears, just create that zigzag effect on it too. And then I started pleating it and then I tack it down just to cover the rough edge where we put the plates in since. So sorry for this part that did not show very well. So I just pleat it like that. You can see it. Now just tack it on it just to cover that rough edge there. That is not fine. So this is it. See how it looks like now. Oh my god, this thing makes sense. Wow, very fine. This one now is not even like 3 step. See it, very fine. 2 step Zara cap with it. Wow, see how it looks, very fine. So this is the back view, this is the front view. Wow, thank you.